Donald Trump has been on a historic and almost unmatched streak of losing lately, and I say almost unmatched because there is one person hot on his tail, and that's Pam Bondi, and she's been coping with her streak of losing about just as well as Donald Trump has, completely melting down and unable to face the reality that she has failed again and again and again, especially today as the politically motivated cases against James Comey and Letitia James were thrown out, and Pam Bondi, she just couldn't cope. After confronted by the press, Bondi had one option, and that was to run away. We're going to get into the disaster press conference she held, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into Bondi's reaction, I think we should start with James Comey's because it's a little bit more cheerful.
I'm grateful that the court ended the case against me, which was a prosecution based on malevolence and incompetence, and a reflection of what the Department of Justice has become under Donald Trump, which is heartbreaking. But I was also inspired by the example of the career people who refused to be part of this travesty. It cost some of them their jobs, which is painful, but it preserved their integrity, which is beyond price. And I know they will serve again. I was very lucky that some of the best lawyers in America stepped forward to represent me. I hope they serve as an example to more and more lawyers, especially at some of the big firms, to participate in protecting our liberty, protecting the rule of law. And my family and friends were always with me, and luckily for me, include some of those great lawyers. This case mattered to me personally, obviously, but it matters most because a message has to be sent that the President of the United States cannot use the Department of Justice to target his political enemies. I don't care what your politics are, you have to see that as fundamentally un-American and a threat to the rule of law that keeps all of us free. I know that Donald Trump will probably come after me again, and my attitude is going to be the same. I'm innocent, I am not afraid, and I believe in an independent federal judiciary, the gift from our founders that protects us from a would-be tyrant. When I was a kid, my parents would wake us up for school every morning by snapping open the shades and saying, "Time to rise and shine and show the world what you're made of." Well, it's that time, America. It's time to stand up and show the fools who would frighten us, who would divide us, that we're made of stronger stuff. That we believe in the rule of law, that we believe in the importance of doing things by the law. So stand tall, shine, and keep the faith.
James Comey has proven that every law firm, every college, every media outlet, any individual who caved to Donald Trump was stupid for doing so. And I'm going to use that word. You were stupid and you were spineless. Donald Trump wants us all to believe that he is inevitable, that his reign of terror is all-consuming and that there is no way to battle him back. But as we see every day with Donald Trump's cognitive and physical decline, the decline of his political movement, for God's sakes, MAGA is fracturing so badly. Some in the Republican Congress think that Mike Johnson might lose the majority. It is that bad, and so many people want to resign. Mike Johnson might lose his gavel. Donald Trump is weak. He has never been weaker. You should stand up to him every chance you get because when you do, he loses, and he doesn't like to lose. And that's why Donald Trump is once again going to try to dip his toe alongside Pam Bondi into the waters of withering loss. But if he goes around again, it's not going to be great, and I want to get into why before we see Pam Bondi lose it. Think long and hard, expert warns Trump DOJ reviving Comey and James cases may backfire. Now that the Trump administration indictments have been tossed, the administration can appeal or bring the charges again under other prosecutors. But they should consider just letting them go, argued former Criminal Division Assistant Attorney General Leslie Caldwell on MS Now. The whole case could become a much bigger mess if they try to revive it, she said. So what happens next? Asked anchor Katie Tur. I mean, we presume that the government is going to want, can we presume the government is going to want to refile these charges? However, she continued, there's also a pending vindictive prosecution motion, and I think given the circumstance surrounding the case, they really should think long and hard about whether they want to bring this case back again. And they may have already achieved their main goal, which was to shame Comey and James. So experts are saying that if Donald Trump wants to bring this case back, it is going to backfire on him. And that if the real goal was to shame Comey and James, they failed. This was a shame on Donald Trump. James Comey and Letitia James come out looking like fighters, champions. Donald Trump lost once again. So this backfired, which is why Pam Bondi, when confronted, gave kind of a nothing answer and then ran away at a press conference.
And if I could just get your reaction to the James Comey, Letitia
Sure.
James cases being dropped today. Back in Washington, James Comey put out a video. He said this matters most because a message has to be sent. The President of the United States cannot use the Department of Justice to target his political enemies. Your reaction to the cases being dropped into that specific message?
Sure, we'll be taking all available legal action, including an immediate appeal, to hold Letitia James and James Comey accountable for their unlawful conduct.
What is your reaction to his statement?
I'm going to keep going on this. I'm not worried about someone who has been charged with a very serious crime. His alleged actions were a betrayal of public trust. So, Lindsay Halligan is an excellent U.S. attorney, and shame on them for not wanting her in office. Thank you all.
Thank you guys very much. How will you sustain this, Mr. Attorney General? How are you going to sustain this effort going forward?
Why would you refile? Why would you go after them again? I still don't know. If this indictment was thrown out because the idiotic, I guess I should be honest in calling her like a former beauty queen, that's what Halligan is, I don't know why you would try again with someone worse. And the fact that there is someone worse really just goes to show the deep bench that MAGA is working with, that they could find a more idiotic non-prosecutor than the one they already had. But I invite Pam Bondi, who clearly couldn't take the heat of any questions in which he was announcing that the National Guard is now coming to Memphis, because that'll really cure the ills of the administration. Another raid on a city that doesn't need Donald Trump's goons roaming the street. That'll fix everything. But Bondi couldn't take the heat. She didn't want to answer questions. She was fine giving kind of a non-answer to that one. But overall, Pam, how did you fuck it up again? I don't think is exactly what she wanted to be responding to today. But I want to not conclude, but just kind of hammer home the point that I started with. Fight the Trump administration. I've said this from the beginning. This idea that after the 2024 election, Donald Trump had won some sweeping cultural mandate is something that I had kind of always turned my nose at. I had poo-pooed that idea. There are always so many who are just kind of trying to drink the Kool-Aid or jump on board of whatever the hot, sizzling take is after an election, that the sky is falling or that everything is great. And usually neither is the case, but that doesn't mean playing some middling non-answer makes you a genius either. What the truth was that Donald Trump did win, and he won on one issue, and that was the belief that he would make things affordable. That while Joe Biden had created the greatest recovery in the world following the pandemic, it wasn't good enough because people were still feeling the effects of higher prices. Now, Joe Biden's economy was the envy of the world, but in a world in which every single incumbent was losing because of post-pandemic pressures, that envy wasn't enough. It wasn't going to work. That, on top of the fact that the mainstream media refused to give Donald Trump's cognitive decline, his idiotic plans, his nonsense economic agenda, all the lies that he was telling real coverage, and the fact that Merrick Garland is a fuck-up, allowed us to get to this point. There are a lot of, factors that got us here, but certainly the struggles that people dealt with, the real struggles coming out of a post-pandemic economy, contributed to that. And now Donald Trump, the man who said he would lower prices on day one, and by the way, he did, because egg prices, which were sky high when he started, are down 4 cents. 4 cents. Woo! Great job, Don. He is unable to tackle the one thing he said would be done, put away, and in the back of your mind, out of your mind, when he was president, which is high prices. They've gotten higher. They are skyrocketing. Everywhere you look, groceries, regular day-to-day commodities, electrical goods, energy itself. Yeah, all those things are more expensive. Hell, Spotify is raising their rates in the United States. And we don't even tariff music yet. Don't give Trump any ideas there. And so Donald Trump's fundamental promise has failed because it wasn't a promise, it was a lie. And so, those people who said Trump was inevitable and young people have shifted to the right and it's all fucking over and we might as well give up and we might as well embrace it and we should start throwing trans people under the bus. I don't know this little dance that I'm doing, but that's what all the pundits look like to me, a little meh, 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 riding the wave of what was politically popular to say was politically pretty dumb. And it's why on this show, and I'm going to give myself a little credit, a little bit of credit, when Republicans got Democrats somehow to vote for, let's say, the Lincoln-Riley Act, or confirm Marco Rubio or Kristi Noem, I was a little confused because I knew we would be back in this place, a place where Trump was historically unpopular. Because if there is one thing that I know about Donald Trump, who came to political fame when I was in middle school, so it's been a ride, people, it's that people fucking hate Donald Trump. That has been the one consistent. High or low, point in his presidency, point in his political career, people fucking hate Donald Trump. So you should always fight Donald Trump. James Comey fought Donald Trump. Letitia James fought Donald Trump. And today, Pam Bondi and Donald Trump are losers again, as they always have been, and as they always, excuse my language, fucking will be. So keep fighting them. Watch the term fall apart, and go ahead and get some of this. It's a bowl of popcorn, and just sit back and relax. And also participate in the fight. Because I'm not the only one who sees it. Nicole Wallace does as well.
We will continue to challenge any further politically motivated charges through every lawful means available. The charges were dismissed without prejudice, meaning that they could be refiled by someone else or somewhere else. But in the Comey case, the statute of limitations expired in September, and that is why all those posts from Trump came. It's why Halligan was put there and rushed in to charge Comey in the first place. Comey's attorneys have said that they plan to argue that he cannot be reindicted because the statute of limitations has now run out.
These people are historically unpopular, and this is the exact point where we should be hammering that home. We are certainly going to on this show, not just because it's fun, it is, but also because it's important. And if nobody else is going to do it, we are. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.